One song at a time. I gotta do the whole thing because Welcome to the 15th Floor, a Radiohead reaction podcast where a Gen X father tries to convince his Gen Z son that Radiohead is the greatest band of all time by introducing him to Radiohead music one song at a time. He reacts for the first time, and I react as a Radiohead fan after the millionth time. Recently, somebody put up what albums we've gone to and how many songs from each album we've done, and we've got a lot to do from some albums. Just a little heads up, I think next we're going to go back to Amnesiac, so if you have some Amnesiac suggestions, get those in. Please look at our Radiohead reactions to see which ones we've already done, and give us a reason why you think we should go there next. Try to convince me and Jacob. I don't want to give you guys a bunch of work, but tell us why Jacob is going to like that track, and maybe you'll convince me that's the one to go to. I've been in a little amnesiac-y lately. But we're going to go today all the way back to 1995, The Bends. Every time we do a song from The Bends, I have to reiterate that The Bends is one of my favorite albums of all time. It goes back and forth between OK Computer as what I think is their greatest album and therefore the greatest album of all time. I make the statement that Radiohead never misses, but I think The Bends really never misses. I don't think there's even a slow, boring track, not even a part of it where you slow down. And of course, the album that got me really into Radiohead. So we're going to go to the title track. Title track is not something we say a lot with Radiohead. Only The Bends and Kid A have a song titled named after the title of the album, and Kid A's song Kid A is a strange kind of outlier on that album. The Bends, on the other hand, fits right in with the rest of the album. It is the title track. A lot of things, people. This is, of course, 1995. They're coming off of the success of Creep. The name of the album, The Bends, most people believe refers to the idea of surfacing too quickly, coming up, rising too quickly, like decompression disease. The Bends. And the song, The Bends, is mostly a big joke. Just humorous and funny and not to be taken too seriously. After requests from Funny Monkey, Dull Dreamer, and Breaker Breaker 924, we're going to do 1995's The Bends.
Coming out, oh wait, where are you now? When I need you, alone on an airplane, fall asleep against the window pane, my blood will thicken. Myself again to hide all the dirt and pain, 'cause I'd be scared that there's nothing underneath. Who are my real friends? Have they all got the bends? Am I really sinking? They're slow. Baby's got the bends. Oh no.
This is definitely giving me those 90s, early 2000s rock kind of vibes. And they always give me the nostalgic feeling because when I was like 4 or 5, I remember just in the car going random places, whether it be to your office or school, you guys either played discs that were made for us, like they kind of like sang songs and then put our names into them.
Yeah.
Or songs like, not like this, but give out the same feeling, and so the nostalgic vibes always do it for me. And it's a good song, like it's a classic rock song, and I feel like it could be sang by anybody, but you could tell like It doesn't sound like Radiohead, but at the same time, it obviously is because of Tom York's vocal performance.
Now all you've heard from Radiohead, it doesn't necessarily sound a lot like a Radiohead song because this is the second album, and by the third album, they've got a completely different sound. By the fourth album, they've completely abandoned the strict rock sound. But this is a strict rock song. Gotta point out, I love, if you haven't listened carefully to that first verse, for those Radiohead fans, there's a Hammond organ in there. Johnny pulls out the Hammond organ, and every time I hear it now, that's all I hear, and I love it. I love that it's there. It's just underlying the whole time, and it's so early Radiohead, and if you haven't really listened to that Hammond organ, you'll appreciate that. In classic early Radiohead fashion, they all start off 3 guitars, Johnny, Tom, and Ed playing the exact that chord progression that they start off with is the same chord progression and the exact same thing they play during the chorus, and they're all playing in unison. That's very classic early Radiohead. Now in the second verse, you're going to hear Tom and Ed continue to play in unison, and Johnny play a counter melody, and a very good counter melody, very minor counter melody.
Talking to my girlfriend, waiting for something to happen. I wish it was the 60s, I wish we could be happy. I wish that something would happen. Where do I go from here? The planet is a Gundam, and we see a fear. And where are you? Brought in the CIA, the tanks and the Humvees to blow me away, to blow me sky. Baby's got to pay. We're not having it real, just lying about what you feel on. Talking to my girlfriend, waiting for something to happen. I wish it was the 60s, I wish we could be happy. I wish that something would. Coming out of weird, where are you now? When I need you.
I forgot how good that song was. I cannot believe I'm saying those words right now because I love the Bends. I have heard this song hundreds of times, maybe thousands of times, probably thousands of times. Man, that's a good song. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't say stuff like that. Except you know that I'm going to say it, so who cares?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what I feel towards this song. All I feel is like the first bit was like giving me nostalgic things, and then like other parts it reminded me of Red Hot Chili Pepper. Give It Away. There's a part where it's just the drums and him singing.
Just lying in a bar with my drip feet on. That is only drums and Tom singing.
Yeah,
and then he plays. They play a little bit on that. What I was doing a little past the nut there.
I don't know. I guess just hearing just drums and singing together just got me feeling that, I guess.
Just drums and singing, that's a little Red Hot Chili Peppers. Although this song does not sound like a Red Hot Chili Peppers song. But I get what you're saying there with that.
Yeah. It's weird, because I know for one thing it is not a bad song. It's pretty good, but I didn't feel anything. I guess a lot of songs you don't really feel something special towards it. Like, I definitely don't feel special feelings towards, like, Spoon Man.
Yeah. But you like Spoon Man.
Yeah. It's kind of like that, only Spoon Man's better, but...
Ooh. When it opens up into the I Want to Live, Breathe, I Want to Be Part of, that is very 90s. And Johnny on his Telecaster, the guitar he's playing, a very classic sound for him in early Radiohead, and early sense of Johnny not rising above the other band members, but clearly going to take the lead in making the unique sound that Radiohead comes up with from here on out. Again, the first album, Pablo Honey, has so much of the three guitarists doing the same thing without a lot of branching out. And this song, the second track on this album, you get a real clear sense that that Johnny's gonna do special things from here on out. You're gonna make it after all, young man. This one absolutely does grow on you because you get to really enjoy the five distinct parts of this song. You know, the verse, the chorus, the post chorus, the resolution at the end, and then the very final just Tom singing with the guitar. Very distinct parts, and each part is really good. I don't know a lot about the production of this song. It's from the Bends, so it's pre-Nigel Godrich, and I don't think that pre-Nigel Godrich they ever felt like they really nailed it.
Radiohead has like helped inspired a bunch of other bands.
Oh, sure.
Right? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's easy for me to say, well, this song reminds me of this, and then I can talk about how
it influences something else.
Yeah, how that makes me feel, and how I like both of the songs, and like I could go on with like connecting the both songs and stuff. But this, besides giving me like a 2000s nostalgic feeling, it didn't really do much.
As far as a song goes, I think that's probably right. I don't think a lot of people who now know what Radiohead has become, even if they have a full belief in Radiohead, they would hear this song and think it's much more than just a really good song from the 90s. Of course, from where it came into my life, it's very important to me. But I don't think it's a beautiful song. What would you give the Bends?
Even though I didn't really have a connection to it, I still feel like, since a lot of songs you don't get a connection to, but you still like it, it's a good 7.5.
Okay, yeah. I think that's fine to say, yeah, it's not moving to me, but I can tell it's a good song. It rocks. The Bends, as I said before, it's an album that you can start on track 1 and go through, and you're not going to skip anything, and you're going to enjoy different parts of it. Every video we do, I have my younger children listen to the song. They're kids. They hear it. They create art based on what inspires them as they listen to the song. It's the only time they listen to the song. They'll never go back to it until we've heard all the songs and I bring in the next kid and do the same thing with them. She's really into the robot theme again. I think Radiohead just gets her thinking that. That's a very expressioned robot. That's a very distinct expression on that robot's face. Forgetting who you are was what it says at the top. I don't know if you think about the message of the album The Bends, forgetting who you are, like there are themes to The Bends, and yeah, you've already seen his. So anyway, there are themes to The Bends, the album The Bends, and certainly Tom York and Radiohead not wanting to get lost in who they are, not wanting to lose their identity in a song like Creep, and trying to find more identity in more music. But I don't think that's what she's thinking. Some line must have connected with her. So of course, my son does not ask, what does the Bends mean, or what are they referencing? And he doesn't see that it's called the Bends. He thought I said the Bends. So he's got the guy on the left saying, my name is Ben, and the guy on the right saying, my name's Frank, or Ferenc. and then something that says, I think that's a can of beans. So maybe this song should have been called The Franks.
Yeah.
Never know. Never know. Last video we did was present tense. Last Radiohead video we did. And Andrew Rawlinson said, I have also considered this song for my funeral. So I take comfort knowing I'm not the only one. Maybe this could be a video for the channel, choosing Radiohead songs for a funeral. And we do need to start kind of branching out. When we originally kind of had the idea to let's do this, I thought about it wouldn't take long before we do like ranking, rank songs, albums, songs from an album, that sort of thing. But then I, of course, realized, no, we have to get long into this so you can actually compare songs. And then, but I think hitting topics like that. So if you're a listener, if you're a regular watcher, think of some lists we can come up with. Radiohead songs we'd like to have played at our funeral. Radiohead songs we'd like to dance at our wedding to. I've already danced at my wedding, so Actually, I didn't dance at all at my wedding. Whatever other lists we can do, we'd like to maybe do some rankings so we can have some other fun videos put in there here and there. Songs I'd most likely want to listen. The song I'd like to be on a desert island with the most, something like that. Desert island songs. I have a list of like funeral songs, like songs like I'd kind of like that played at my funeral, and it's not a real. It's a real sad list. Probably not what you'd actually want. Funerals. I'm such a backwards person. Funerals to me are like joyous occasions because I love hearing about somebody's life. I love learning more about what made them them and why they're so unique. And I always come out of funerals kind of inspired. I find weddings to be very down. They're downers because all it does is reminds me how old I'm getting. When I see people getting married that I remember when they were babies, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm an old man. So weddings are real downers. Funerals are really nice. It might be a Dwight Schrute thing. Weddings are bleak affairs. As we come up with those lists, we'll let you know what lists we're coming up with next so you guys can give us a lot of input. You guys tell us what you want to see. Give us some ideas. We don't want to be creative. We want you guys to be creative on our behalf, and then we'll take it credit from there. Yeah. Thanks for watching. Thanks for liking. Thanks for subscribing. If you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe. What's the worst that can happen? You get a notification that says new video and you don't watch it. Please watch it. And comment on it and like it. And I do, as I always say, I read every comment. I will say, because I say that every time, I will say after about 24 hours after the video is posted, I then usually comment on. I go through and then start commenting. So if you comment on it after 24 hours and I don't say something, not that anyone cares if I respond to them or not, but if you're wondering why I always say I read all the comments, but I don't necessarily like your comment or haven't responded to your comment, it's because usually after 24 hours, I don't go back to those comments. But sometimes I do. But within 24 hours, I will read every single comment that is there after 24 hours. Does that make sense? Great. Come on. Continue to love one another. Keep listening to music together. You're now leaving
the 15th floor.